Hey guys, I'm Michaela Elsen, and I want to welcome you, the students at Indiana University of Pennsylvania, to our brand new podcast, the Eberly Insider.
Woo!
This podcast will be the place to go about everything from the Eberly College of Business and Information Technology to basic business knowledge. We want to give you the inside scoop of the business world from a college student's point of view. So without further ado, let's get the first episode of the Eberly Insider started. So today I have a guest, Eberly Kostelnik. She is a student here at Eberly as well.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Me too.
So I'm Eberly Kostelnik. I'm another social media strategist for Eberly's digital marketing team, and I'm excited. Today we're talking about technology, things going virtual.
Oh yeah, and actually one segment that we're going to start doing in this podcast is every IUP student has access to the Wall Street Journal, and so I was, drinking my coffee this morning on my porch, and I came across an article about how heavily we are attached to our smartphones.
Right.
And I think that's super true, and I like to bring this up in conversation because I think it's super important that all students stay up to date on current events.
Yeah.
And, I think every student should really utilize the free subscription to the Wall Street Journal.
Right, yeah. All you have to do is use your IUP email.
Yeah.
You get it all 4 years, 5 years if you stay an extra.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And so that article, it was super funny because we've been planning to record this podcast, and I came across it this morning, and I was like, oh my gosh, this ties in perfect.
Yes.
So I'm going to bring it up, give students
Right.
the inside scoop. And so our first topic we're going to talk about is just kind of like our personal adjustments into having a virtual semester, because I'm a junior, you're a senior, so we're basically all virtual.
Right. Yes, and it's difficult. I would definitely say it was a difficult transition. Staring at a screen all day is rough. Invest in some blue light glasses because it's rough. However, I do think that Eberly's professors have been handling it well.
Oh, I agree, absolutely.
I think from the first class, I've just seen like an improvement based on last semester when COVID hit unexpectedly. Like, I think all the professors here really put time into learning Zoom and making sure that they have a set plan for the semester. So I am happy about that.
Yeah, me too. And it always makes me smile when my professors have different backgrounds.
Yes.
My one professor uses a Toy Story background, and it cracks me up. And it does. It makes my class enjoyable, I actually kind of like not having. I live off campus, so me walking would be 20 minutes to class at 8 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I actually like just being able to, open my computer, get right into it. The only thing is sometimes I get distracted.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. It's definitely more convenient, but yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
It's harder to stare at a screen without being as engaged.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have any tips maybe for the people listening that are kind of struggling with Zoom?
I usually throw my phone across the room.
Yeah.
And then, I try really hard not to be on my phone during class because, you just get into, you check Twitter, and then you're in a Twitter hole, and then you check Snap. So, it's really difficult for me, especially to just stay focused on my screen. But it also helps that the professors are engaging, and, my one professor actually, halfway through class was like, okay, take a bathroom break,
Right,
5 minutes, turn off your cameras, just relax for 5 minutes, and then we'll come back. So, they are doing everything that they possibly can. So it's great, honestly. It's really good to see professors taking such an interest in your education.
Yeah, I think definitely eliminating all distractions is important. But what I also do is, even though now everyone's using PowerPoints and D2L, you don't really have to write things, but I always write everything down.
Oh, me too.
Just so I'm not thinking of something else, or I'm not really in class mentally. So I would always recommend writing stuff down as if you're just in normal class.
Oh yeah, and I think that one thing that also kind of helps is that everyone is using Zoom now. So it helps that we know the format, we know the platform now.
Yeah.
So we know how to use all of the buttons, because I don't know about you, but I use Zoom every single day. Sometimes 3-4 times a day between my classes, meetings, for work. And also just all of Eberly's organizations, they're really, really using Zoom to the best of their ability.
Yes, and I think that's so important now too, is that especially for leaders and organizations, you're learning how to run a whole Zoom meeting. You're learning how to create breakout rooms and host the meeting and everything like that. And that's going to be important later on whenever you go into the workforce, because even though things will be back to normal eventually, I think Zoom's going to be like here to stay.
Yeah, the new standard.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because like, I think, and one thing that came up in that article I read this morning was just about how we're almost always attached to the office now.
Right.
And like this helps companies, like even if someone's working from home, they are still present at the meeting because Zoom.
Yeah, yeah. I think this has opened like so many eyes. Like I feel like companies were so scared to risk letting their employees work from home just because you really don't know how that's going to go. But this like forced everybody to, and I think it made all of us realize that there are so many different industries where you can work from home, or you could be living in a different state and still make the meetings via Zoom.
Oh yeah, exactly. So it just makes everything more accessible, and everything's changing.
Yeah, yeah. And even though like we're all looking at it like, Zoom, but it's like changing for the better as well. Like just try to look at the positives. It's so convenient, and it's just like the new way of doing things.
Yeah,
it's
and
just
it's
so easy.
It is. It's very easy to use, and it's easy to understand, even for kids. I mean, that's how school is. And, you know,
right.
especially with our organizations, I know, like, every single organization in Eberly is kind of hurting right now because we thrive off of seeing each other face-to-face. We thrive off of socialization. But, you know, everyone's adapting.
Yeah.
And I've found myself enjoying Zoom meetings with my organizations.
Yeah, I think that's actually another thing to add for the listeners that don't know. All of Eberly's organizations have went virtual.
Yes.
For the safety of our students and just because of IUP's guidelines and recommendations. So I think it's been difficult, like you said, engaging. However, shameless plug, I think this is why like Eberly's social media is so important, because that's how everyone's getting their information now. Everyone's constantly online. So
I found myself earlier, I was in every Monday, Eberly's doing like a coffee and chat with freshmen and transfer students, like first year students. And earlier I was just kind of like, oh, you want to learn more about organizations? Go follow Eberly IUP on social media. You know, we promote everything.
Exactly.
Like, and that's exactly where you probably heard about this podcast from. You know? So I think that throwing everything virtual has kind of opened our eyes, and also like generations, like they're going to be changing.
Right.
And that's one of the other talking points I wanted to bring up is like, where will this leave us? You know, like the future, like you said, employers, they're realizing that everything can be virtual. Yeah. And meetings can be held at home for people who are working from home.
Right. I think this is a good thing. I think, like, I know I complain every day that, you know, I'm sick of staring at the screen, but like for full-time positions or internships, all of my interviews lately have been virtual, and it's just so convenient. You don't have to worry about travel expenses, transportation, how are you going to get there? So in that way for students, that's great. And then employers, even for the older generations that didn't really want to use technology, or they think that, you know, it's not beneficial, everyone's kind of forced to right now. So I think it's a good learning experience for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And you even completed an internship this summer, completely virtual, right?
Yes, completely.
And did you still gain all of that industry knowledge? Did you still learn from it?
Yes, 100%. And I think the biggest reason why is because you need constant communication, and the organization that I worked with did that. So for everyone using Zoom, I think that's the most important thing, is like for our organization meetings, we have meetings every week. For my internship this past summer, we met twice a week just to make sure that we're all on the same page, because everyone's spread out in different areas, different cities, so we needed to be on the same track. And I think that's why it was so successful.
Yeah, I agree. And like for the marketing team, you know, we meet twice a week. We meet once virtual and once in person, and it really helps because, you know, sometimes like Monday hits and I'm a little disoriented and I don't really know exactly what I need to do. We have constant communication, so I'm always being reminded of my responsibilities. Yeah. And I think that's key. Like, none of us would be successful being virtual, working from home, if we didn't have that constant communication. And it works perfectly that, you know, our smartphones and laptops, like, we have the technology to be in constant communication. So I think that, you know, there's a lesson to be learned in all of this. That, you know, like, we are taking strides towards the future of professional industries and even students. And I know, like, it's really difficult to see, my younger brother is still in high school. It's really difficult to see, like, him only going to school, like, once, twice a week.
Yeah.
And then the other days he's virtual, like me, but, like, I'm completely virtual. So it's just crazy that education is taking such a different path, but it's still achieving the same results.
Right. Exactly.
So.
Yes, that's so true. And just keep in mind that it's all for your safety. As frustrated as you're going to get, it's for the best. It's for your health. It's for your safety. And it's also a learning experience. So I think it's beneficial in the long run.
Oh, yeah. Me too. And I actually want to kind of shout out to all of Eberly's organizations and Eberly just as a building, because our staff is one of the only staff that is full occupancy right now. Like, every employee is working in Eberly. And I mean, we work virtual, but here we are, we're still in the building. And then all of the professors and all of their secretaries and everyone that makes Eberly work is working. And I think that's super cool. Eberly's
open. Like, if you want to come study here, you're more than welcome. They're not letting anybody come. However, you just need to follow the social distancing guidelines and use the tools that they have, like the hand sanitizers, the face scanners, things like that.
I love the face scanning temperature thing.
So
I really
cool.
like it. Sometimes I just want to know my temperature.
I know.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so, like, every single organization is doing the best that they can during this time. And shout out to the ones that I'm involved in, you know, like PGN, MA, even COBSAC. We're doing everything we can, and it's so nice to see everyone actually cooperating.
Right, yeah, and honestly, now is, like, the time to get involved. If you're not involved already, like, it cannot be a better time, because this is a great way to, like, adjust, ease into it. You don't have to, like, go in person and be nervous about it. And also, a lot of the organization's dues are less expensive. So take advantage, get involved. It's super important, whether we're in person or online, you should be involved. So
yeah, exactly. And, you know, that's a great place to wrap it up. So that is concluding the first episode of the podcast. We are super excited for this to drop. I believe we will be having episodes drop every Wednesday, so stay tuned. We're super excited. We wanted to create this podcast because it's going to give college students a place to go and listen to any updates about IUP, Eberly, and just give them basic business know-how, you know. In future episodes, we want to do, like, personal finance, have industry professionals in on the podcast. And with that being said, when this releases, like, please feel free to leave your recommendations, whatever you want to hear. This is a podcast for the people. So,
no, really, it's for you.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, thanks for listening, guys. We hope you tune back in next week. And that concludes the first episode of the Eberly Insider.
See ya.
Bye.